Hello everyone. Having some technical difficulties, so glad to be back. This is take number 2. This is Crystal. Today is Sunday. It's October 25th, 2020. I'm happy to come and share the Quite Curvy Variety Bundle, which is going to be available beginning on November 3rd. But before I show the bundle, I just want to remind everyone about the Designer Series paper sale. It ends next Saturday, October 31st. I stocked up on it. There's a lot of good paper that's available during this sale. There's the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper. The original price of most of these papers is $11.50 for a pack of 24 sheets. They're double-sided sheets. But with the sale, it'll be $9.78. There's only one pack of paper here that has 24 sheets instead of 12. And I'll get to that one later. The Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper is in the annual catalog, and it's on page 148 if you're interested. The 'Tis the Season Designer Series paper is already cut down to 6x6, which is good for me because if I'm doing smaller projects, it just helps to have a smaller sheet of paper. And this actually has 48 different sheets. I have about 3 different packs of this. That's in the smaller mini catalog, the August to December catalog. It's on page 31. The Forever Greenery Designer Series paper, I ordered this for the sale. I'm going to use this in the springtime for some of my projects. It's Forever Greenery Designer Series paper. It's in the annual catalog. It's on page 148 as well. The Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper. If you're really into Christmas and you want to do some Christmas projects, this is some pretty paper. It's in the August to December mini catalog. It's on page 15. The Trimming the Town Designer Series paper, which I like a lot. I ordered 2 sets of this. And next Sunday, we'll be making some projects with this together. And this is in the August to December mini catalog. Is on page 25. The Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. This is cut down to 6x6. There are 48 sheets in the package. It's in the August to December mini catalog. It's on page 57. And I did some Hershey Nuggets treats back in September, I believe. September. And I used this paper I made 2 dozen Hershey Nuggets treats with this paper. I like this paper. The Twill Tidings Designer Series paper. This is in the August to December mini catalog. Is on page 34. It's mostly green and red, the traditional Christmas colors. Peony Garden Designer Series paper is in the annual catalog. Is on page 149. There's a lot of soft pinks and grays. This is nice for springtime as well. I ordered a package of that for the sale. Wheel of a Time Designer Series paper is 6x6. There's 48 sheets in the pack. It's in the annual catalog and it's on page 150. Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. I have 2 packs of this because Christmas is my favorite holiday, so I plan to do a lot of projects for Christmas. It's in the August to December mini catalog and it's on page 9. Magic in This Night Designer Series paper. It's a combination of Halloween and fall papers. It's in the August to December mini catalog and is on page 53. Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. I bought 2 packs of this to do some winter projects. This paper is in the August to December mini catalog and is on page 37. The In Good Taste Designer Series paper. This actually has 24 sheets of double-sided paper. So this normally is $21, but on sale is $17.85. This paper is in the annual catalog on page 148. Playing with Patterns designer series paper. I actually bought the suite of products. A suite has paper, stamps, sometimes dies, sometimes punches, and some other accessories. So if you buy the suite, you get 10% off the bundle price of the stamps and the punches, or the stamps and the dies, and then they add up it's just a great way of buying everything without having to put each individual item number in your cart. So I bought this suite in October. I bought the suite this month, and during the sale I bought 2 more packs of paper. Playing with it's 6x6. They're 48 sheets of paper. It's on page 149 of the annual catalog. So with the sale is $9.78. And for all the pet lovers, Playful Pets designer series paper. I have a small packet of this. I did a paper share. My team leader did a paper share, so I have a sample of all the papers that are in the annual catalog. So I have some of this, and this is some cute paper. I don't have a pet, so I didn't buy this 12x12, but I have 6x6 of each paper. But this is 12x12. It's on page 149 of the annual catalog, and this is also $9.78. So I just wanted to highlight this because the sale ends on Saturday, October 31st. Pretty paper is something that I always have time to look at, and that also goes along with my fondness for pretty fabric. So I just wanted to share this, remind people if you were thinking about buying some of this paper. And if you're interested in buying some, you can go to stampinup.com to make your purchases. But before you do that, go to interwovencreationsbycrystal.com/store and get the current host code. Everyone who uses a host code will be entered to win a prize drawing at the end of the month. So now, here is our project. So this is the Quite Curvy. So the reason I wanted to highlight this, even though it's not available until November 3rd, is because there are 4 parts to this. 4 parts to this bundle. There are the dies. Let's do it like this. There are the dies here. I took them out of the package. I'm going to put them on a magnetic sheet. I store my dies on a magnetic sheet. So this is the magnetic sheet. I get these from stampinstorage.com. These are very, you see there's not even wiggling. This is very, very sturdy. So this is how they come. I wanted you to see how they come in the package from Stampin' Up. They come in an envelope, and then there's some adhesive on it to keep it in place. I've used some of these dies to play around with for the projects we're going to do today. So from November 3rd to January 3rd, you can get all 4 of these. You can get the dies, the Quite Curvy stamps, the Curvy Christmas stamps, and the designer series paper as a bundle. But because the paper and the Curvy Christmas are Christmas, after January, this will not be available. But this will be available. This is in the spring catalog that's going to be released on January 4th. So I just wanted to make that clear. If you are interested in doing something for Christmas with this set, You can get all 4 starting November 3rd. But after January 3rd, you can only get this. So just something to keep in mind. So I am a demonstrator, so I was able to order this a month early. This was available, I think, the beginning of October for demonstrators to buy. So I've used it. See, I've cut up some of the paper. The first card I did was this. It's an A2 size card. I used shaded spruce. No, I used garden green as the cardstock. I cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is 8.5, and that's 5.5. I have a piece of designer series paper that's in this pack, the 6x6. I cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of Whisper White right here. This is 5 by 2 3/4. And on the inside, this Whisper White cardstock is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I have another piece of the designer series paper that's 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And of course, I do my envelopes. This stamp is in the Curvy Christmas. I use Curvy Christmas because the Curvy Christmas bundle, the Curvy Christmas stamp set, and the paper are limited. Once it's only available to January 3rd. So I wanted to highlight that so you can see it in action, because after January 3rd, this and the paper will no longer be available. So I used this stamp, and I used Cherry Cobbler. That's one of the colors in the paper. Whenever you buy designer series paper, it tells you the dimensions, 6x6, and the coordinated colors. So there's Cherry Cobbler, Sahara Sand, Shaded Spruce, and Whisper White. So I use Cherry Cobbler stamp, Cherry Cobbler ink for this bow that I stamped. And then I also do the flap. When I turn the envelope around, I do the left side of the flap. I'm left-handed, so most things are going to be left side for me. So that's the envelope that goes with that. And so this is a stamp that's in the Quite Curvy Christmas. And I use Shaded Spruce. And then I had these from another project. The Merry Christmas is also from the stamp set. And these are called Wonderful Gems. This is in the August to December mini catalog. I bought this because I'm going to make my own Christmas cards this year. So I bought the 'Tis the Season designer series paper. It's on sale. It's now, but when I bought it, it wasn't on sale. But I bought 2 packs of 'Tis the Season designer series paper, a pack of Shaded Spruce cardstock, a pack of Real Red cardstock, and a pack of Whisper White cardstock to make Christmas cards. From each sheet of cardstock, I can get 2 cards. So I bought, I think there's 48, 88. So it was 88 pieces of cardstock. I don't think I'm going to have that many Christmas cards to send, but I'm going to do some Christmas projects as well. 2020 has been a rough year with COVID and quarantine and people getting sick and people dying. So I'm just trying to share my crafts to try to uplift people, because this is a rough time for a lot of people. So this is our card. So I have all the pieces cut, and here are the wonderful gems. Okay. There are 100 gems. There's like a golden, clear golden, and then these are really called real red. So these, I'm going to use these. I have 3 packs. 3 packs. Yeah, I bought 2 and then I won 1 as a prize. That's one thing I like about my team, is that my team leader does a lot of prizes for participation. And my team leader's team leader, I'm on 2 teams. I have my immediate team leader, and then my team leader's team leader, I'm on her team as well. And she does a lot of prizes. Kim is my immediate team leader. And then Hattie is next up the line. And Hattie and Kim do a lot of prizes, a lot of giveaways. So I have a lot of things that I get just for participating. And I became a demonstrator because I wanted the discount. There is a minimum that you have to buy or sell every quarter, but I knew I could do that on my own because I enjoy crafting that much that I knew that that would not be a hard reach. But then I found out about World Card Making Day. So I decided to do a workshop because I like sharing my crafts and I like teaching, and I wanted to get more people. It's a rough year, so a way to use our creative energy is always helpful. So if someone is interested in becoming a demonstrator, you would not have to do any workshops. I can talk to you about what the quarterly minimum is, but yeah, you wouldn't have to do anything, and you would get a 20% discount right off the gate. And your starter kit would be $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Products, but it would only be $99 plus tax. And your starter kit is free shipping. So, I mean, I like a bargain. I like a deal. And that was a great deal for me because I knew that I would continue to be buying paper products and stamps, and just to continue to create. I use all forms of media to create because I need a creative outlet. I have a stressful job, so I need this. So here's my cardstock. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I usually I fold it after I'm done. So I like to do layers. So this is the Cherry Cobbler Designer Series paper, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. It's double-sided. So there's the holly side, but I wanted to give the impression like this is snow, so I use this side. And I take my adhesive and I go down all 4 sides. And this is not cardstock, so I don't do the diagonal. And I just take it and try to have a small, even margin on all 4 sides. And adhere that. And I stamped this earlier because I had to do some finagling to get the trees where I wanted them exactly. So I didn't want to spend time with you trying to, yeah, it was just, I wanted the trees in a certain location, and then I had to cut and make it exactly right. So, but these trees, I use this block. This is the I block. This takes up the entire stamp. I used shaded spruce ink for the trees, and I used Cherry Cobbler for the Merry Christmas. And so this is cardstock, so I'm going to do all 4 sides and the diagonal. And as you see, I had some issues. But the good thing about paper, there's 2 sides that had some issues the first time. So it's 2 sides to the paper. So you just turn it over, try it again. So place it here, even margins. And then I do the inside. I have the inside stamped already. May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. That is also right here. It's in the Curvy Christmas stamps. And I used Cherry Cobbler. And this is another piece of the Designer Series paper. The Designer Series paper is 6x6. So I always cut off my big piece first. My big piece is 5 1/4 by 4. So I took off the 3/4. So that's where this comes from. So this was 3/4 by 6. And then I just cut off the 2 inches. So I don't, waste not, want not. So this was originally one sheet of Designer Series paper. This piece, this spread, this Cherry Cobbler, and this Cherry Cobbler all came from one sheet. So all that was left was a 3/4 inch by 2. And that might even be in here because I tend to save everything. So that might be in that pack right there. So I take my adhesive, and since this is cardstock, I'll do all 4 sides and the diagonal. I tend to use a lot of adhesive. I know I've seen a lot of videos and some people just use a little bit, but I just want to make sure, and because that tape is archival quality, so it's going to make sure it stays on and it'll keep the paper from turning. So I make sure I have an even margin on all 4 sides. And our card is done. So that's when I fold it. And then I use my bone folder to just make sure I have a nice crease. Take my Take Your Pick tool. And just take my wonderful gems. Let's see. I did 3 large ones for this. I think I'm going to do the smaller ones for this one. Just take that. Put that up in the corner. 1. There's some adhesive on the back of the gems. These are called Wonderful Gems. And a 3rd one. It's good to do odd numbers when you're doing embellishments. So 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. And now our card is done. It's ready to be mailed. And these gems are not too, they're not raised up too much, so you probably won't have to worry about extra postage. But if you were to make a card with some embellishment, raised embellishments like this, just add a piece of cardstock, like a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, when you put it in the envelope, just to protect your gems. Just like put this on top before you put it in the envelope to mail it. So that is our first card. So I probably will be sending this out for someone when I send my Christmas cards out. I'm going to do a variety of designs. Last week I started playing with the trimming the town paper, and I like that paper a lot. I'm glad I bought some during the sale, and I'm going to have some of my Christmas cards are going to be that design. I shared one of the cards I did the card yesterday. I shared it on social media, so that card will probably be sent to someone. And then these 2 that I just finished. So I'm killing a couple of birds with these Facebook Lives. I'm getting my Christmas cards done. I'm sharing my crafts. And I just want to encourage you that these cards are simple. You don't have to, like I use this next card, I use these dies. But if you don't have a die cutting machine, there's a way that we can work around it, or you can change the card a little to suit your needs. But I try to make crafts that will encourage people to at least try the craft. So we're doing our next card. this is the envelope. I use this sprig, I guess, leaf set, vine. I don't really know how to describe it, but I use this stamp. And I use the shaded spruce. I did on the left, and then I turned the envelope around, and then I just did that in the middle. And this is our card. So the card itself is cherry cobbler. It's 8.5 by 5.5. The designer series paper is 4 by 5.25. The Whisper White, it started off as a 3 by 3 piece of Whisper White cardstock, and then I used the oval shaped die that I have. I think I used it in the previous project as well, but you can always just have this as a rectangle. It doesn't have to be oval. And then I used cherry cobbler to stamp Merry Christmas. Here's Merry Christmas. And I used shaded spruce to stamp this image right here, right there. And this is also on the designer series paper, so I like how that coordinated together. So I use this die right here. I still got some paper in there. On my Whisper White cardstock, and I ran it through my die cutting machine, and then I cut it down to size. Because when I started off, I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted this curve. So that's how this came to be. This is the area that faces the paper, because this is raised. So this faces the part of the project that people will see. Put it on here on a piece of cardstock, run it through, and then I just cut it down to be 5.25. I wanted it the same width as the designer series paper. So that's how that came to be. And on the inside, it's the same sentiment. May your days be merry and bright. Same sentiment as the first card, but I used shaded spruce. And once again, this is 3.25 by 5.25. I cut this piece of cardstock first, cut off the it starts off at 6 by 6. So I cut off the 3/4 of an inch. So that this piece was 3/4 of an inch by 6. And then I took this piece and then I cut off another 3/4. So this is 3/4. This is 3/4 of an inch tall by 5 1/4 inch long. So it's just a little 3/4 inch square that was left. Hardly any waste. So that's our next card. So I always take my cardstock whenever these two together this is one sheet of cardstock. So I always get 2 cards for every sheet of cardstock. So I do a lot of duplicates, or at least something. Maybe they're not identical, but they might be fraternal twins. So I start with the first layer is the designer series paper, 4 by 5.25. Here's the other side, some stars. That's nice. But I wanted to go with this because even if you use this side, there's actually a stamp, 2 stamps that are stars. So, and this right here, stars. So you could use this side as well, but I wanted to use the leaves. So do my adhesive on all 4 sides. And make sure I have my even margin, or as even as I can get it. All right, that's good. Then, here it is. Here's my sentiment, shaded spruce, cherry cobbler, and I put it on have any? There they are. I put it on dimensionals. I like dimension on my cards. So I usually do one in the middle. There are no, and I usually do all the corners. There are no corners here, but I do these two sides. And then one, I do a lot of dimensionals because I don't want it to sag. So put those dimensionals there. I'm gonna squeeze it just to make sure they're on there good. So, but for this one, I'm actually going to put this on the left side instead of the right. Lower left. There we go. And that's the great thing about crafting. You can do whatever you want. There are no craft police, at least not in my house anyway. So that is the outside of our card. Slightly different from the first. I have another snowbank. Could put it up here as, you know, I don't know. I just do without it. Or I could put it on the side if I wanted to just cut it and add it. That might work. Cut it down to 4. I don't know. Maybe later. But I like how it looks right now. So, inside I have this Whisper White cardstock, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I still have this piece, 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. So I always attach that first. So just put this in the corner. Attach it all the way down. And make sure it's adhered. And I turn it over, and I do all 4 sides. And since this is cardstock, I'll do the diagonal as well. And I check to make sure I'm doing right. That's the top, so this goes here. And try to get my margin equal. There we go. And that is our card. So this card is slightly different from the first card. I'm going to add some of the wonderful gems for here. Let's see. I'll put 2 on. I'll do the smaller ones. One on the Merry Christmas, one there. Another one on the other side of Merry Christmas. I think I'll just do those 2. Right? Yeah, I'll just do those 2 to highlight the Merry Christmas. And that's our second card. So that was quick. I tend to, whenever I am not in the mood to create something, or if I feel like I don't know what I want to do at the moment, I'll just take some cardstock and I might just cut a bunch of card bases, or cut a bunch of layers down. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Like right now, I have this little stack here. If I ever needed to, if I need to make a card in a hurry, I like to have a little just stack of layers, some cardstock. I'm like, here's some I cut yesterday, just to be ready, just in case I wanted to have a white card base. Been doing a lot of colored card bases with getting ready for Christmas and everything. So, and envelope is exactly the same as the first envelope. So, but the cards are slightly different, you know, change it up a little bit. I might add this. I don't know. I'm sort of on the fence about this. Even though it's supposed to be snow, but maybe. We'll see. But those are our cards for today. Thank you for watching. Once again, the designer series paper sale ends on Saturday, October 31st. Next week we will be doing the Coming Home bundle. It's a stamp set. It's some dies, but you don't need the dies because you can always fussy cut the houses. So I'll show you that next week. And then there's the paper, the designer series paper, which I posted a picture of in the event for next week. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you next week. Please share pictures of any projects you're working on. And if you receive the paper pumpkin for October, share what you're working on. I'm actually going to work on mine when this video is over because I got some ideas and I want to start creating. Those are going to be some of my Christmas cards as well. So thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.